Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great Thursday. Welcome to Under the Hood, Ask a Pro. My name is Tony. We're live every Thursday at 3 o'clock to answer your automotive questions. So last week I hinted, and through our Facebook page, if you follow us, we've been talking about a mystery guest. So today, I want you to welcome Jesse. Thanks for coming, Jesse.
Glad to see you.
If you don't know who Jesse is, he's worked for AutoTech for 10 years.
His dad, almost 13 years.
13.
I worked here, and my dad owned it since '96. So.
Yeah. And the reason why I wanted him on the show, not only because he's a friend of ours and worked for a while, is Under the Hood. You were the host of it.
Yeah,
when it was on radio.
Yeah, obviously Van, when he started AutoTech, when he bought AutoTech, he very quickly got into doing that on the radio, and I rolled into it pretty naturally. You got to follow in your dad's footsteps. So this is old hat, new hat for me.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different platform. So since we have a special guest, please comment your questions. Jesse knows a lot. So if you have any questions about anything, comment them. And last week we had a question from Philip, and I didn't see it live. I posted a little bit about coolant with green and deck spool. But his main thing I didn't really get into was distilled water in coolant. What's your opinion on distilled water in a cooling system?
If you're going to be buying this, doing this stuff yourself, it makes a lot of sense. It's the chemical differences, it's the minerals and stuff that tend to be in tap water that's obviously distilled out of water. That's the kind of stuff that eventually can build up scale and cause potential issues in cooling systems. Luckily, cars are so robust nowadays that it doesn't hurt them like it did. And when you're doing volume, distilled water is certainly a good thing, though not necessary. Yeah. Obviously, tap water, creek water has been in cars for centuries now. So, it's a good extra little step, especially as complex as cars are nowadays.
And probably our water is probably a whole lot cleaner than what it is. I used to drink. You have this distilled, atomized, positive charged water. It's supposed to be good for you, and I tried it. But then you're spending $20 on water. Do you feel any different? I think our tap water today is probably a whole lot better than it was maybe years ago.
World's better. Yeah, much better.
So we'll talk about a few things. So Jesse, what do you do now?
So my full-time job right now is I'm a collision investigator, largely for insurance companies, private organizations. If there is an accident that's happened, goes to lawsuit, and there's work needed to find out how that happened, why it happened, what kind of injuries happened, that's what I do largely right now. Really stemmed from the inquisitive, investigative nature of AutoTech, where we always ask, well, why did that fail? Why is that running poorly? Why does this happen that way? And so our automotive expertise that we learned kind of snowballed for me in that direction. When my father sold AutoTech to Robert, it was because he was doing so much of that work. I had some chances to step up and do that now. So I'm a certified, accredited, educated reconstructionist, and doing all kinds of interesting stuff with it now.
So that's cool. If there's what's the most exciting thing, or what do you see different, in your type industry?
Well, it's the extremes of what happens. If you want to go to YouTube and just look up crash videos, and you see things rolling and spinning and plowing through and blowing up, and it's just wild. And so going back and starting at the end and seeing broken cars and blown airbags and tire marks careening across an interstate, and having to, in your head, back up and figure out what happened and use the analysis techniques we always built here diagnosing cars of, okay, well, this is broken. Was it from an accident? Was it from beforehand? Yeah. Did it affect it? I looked at one recently where the tires were worn out and bald. Well, they had to lock up their tires as somebody was cutting them off on the interstate. Well, that plays as a factor of how you lose control. That's why we recommend it as maintenance all the time, because that's the kind of stuff that in an extreme situation can happen. And with the high level of expertise we always work on here, we can access the black box in your airbag computer, understand why it set off the airbag, how fast you were going, what the steering angle you had meant for how you were traveling down the road. So it's, if you like Sherlock Holmes and mysteries and trying to kind of deduce things from the little pieces missing, that's what this job really kind of spurned from.
And that reminds me, we had a Explorer similar to this one in the other day, and blower motor wasn't working. So we get it in, and the resistor, which controls the fan speed, and the connectors just melted. So it's, well, what caused this to happen? You know, these aren't items that just melt. So it's one of those things you have to fix what's kind of broken, but at the same time, what caused this problem? And the result was the blower motor.
Exactly.
So it took out the resistor, which in turn melted. So we're seeing the result, not the cause.
Exactly, and that's what we loved here at AutoTech, was not going, okay, well that's broken in two, I'm going to put it in. We always took the time to go, okay, well, that shouldn't have broken into just by, it shouldn't have melted into a wad of plastic and metal. So maybe we need to take that extra step. And like you said, lo and behold, well, when motors die and melts things, and then you probably sat there for 20 minutes and let it run and double check the switches and everything else just to make sure nothing else was about to melt.
Because you never know. Yeah. So we'll get some questions here in a minute. So everyone, feel free to comment them now. One thing I wanted to show you, I had an axle. And we posted this on our Facebook the other day, and we had a wheel bearing. So on the rear wheel drive vehicle, we have, of course, an axle, and we have the bearing, which rides right on the shaft. And this bearing failed, but when we saw it, someone installed what they're called bearing savers or axle savers. And instead of replacing a bearing and a seal, it has two seals on it. And, these can get you by for some time. What normally happens if you're trying to do a good repair, and all of a sudden you have this huge chunk of metal you're trying to cut out of the whole axle too. So that's why we posted that on Facebook, and I asked you if anyone had any luck with these. I think it's more of a temporary fix than a long term.
Well, sure, it makes sense. I mean, it looks like they're trying to add, and instead of going all the way to the deep cause, if we can just put enough in there. But like you said, that looks like a great opportunity for there to be more things that fail.
Or an axle cut in half, all of a sudden driving down the road,
exactly.
wheel flies off.
Yeah, oh, okay, I see. Part of what this looks like it does is it offsets the bearing from the original location. If you're looking, obviously they're not the same depth. So instead of having the bearing flush at the same place, well, we'll just shove it further in. But you know what that does? It's just a lever arm. Anytime you have something hard that's worn and damaged, and now you've created a weak point here, and you've stuck the wheel further out, so it's prying on the car more. Yeah, I could definitely see where that might last for a while, but also could be, you could end up coming to see me after something like that too. So upside down.
Do we have any questions we need to get to?
Nothing yet. Something about some old Van Gogh guy wanting to make fun of us youngins here. So that would probably be my dad trying to say he's the old guy. But hell, you and I have been doing this now. You've almost
I've been doing about 16 years.
Yeah, you've been at AutoTech for quite some time. So.
Yeah, I got my first job sweeping the floors here. I had no idea how to even work on a car, but I came in. Your dad helped me out, gave me a job in between high school and college, going automotive. So I just tried to suck up as much stuff as I could and just sweep the floor. So you didn't sit at home, just just trying to get an experience.
That's funny. It's how a lot of us, now guys have moved on, but. I did the same thing. I was the owner's son, but you know what? I needed a job in the summer. And he said, well, there's where the oil change bucket is. Don't do anything. Go pour it back there and don't spill it. And all guys like you came in and we all learned stuff together. So it's definitely been a lot of fun.
I remember your dad told me, he said, making mistakes is learning. So part of making mistakes is learning, but don't make too many mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. You're allowed to do it.
Yes.
For those out there, obviously, if you're friends of AutoTech, you probably know this, but it's always been a family here. The guys help each other. They don't compete with each other hardcore. I mean, friendly, but if you need some, Tony come over here and Tony call back. And so it was all about, okay, that's fine. You're good. We're going to take the time. We're going to do it right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, of course, number one, let's take care of our customers, make sure the job's right.
Absolutely. And everybody gets better by it. Everybody gets paid by it. And, people go home happy and you come back. I mean, AutoTech's been around 57 years now.
Almost 60.
So you don't last in business that long through 4 or 5 different ownership chains if that's not really an ingrained sense of customer care.
And one thing you do, I kind of want to hit to, because we get calls about this all the time, is diminished values. Who can inspect my car for a diminished value? And that's something you do.
Sure, it is something, and it's really spawned from before you buy auto inspections. As part of AutoTech here. Our expertise in analyzing a vehicle and looking for signs or proof that there has been damage done. Because Carfax is fine, AutoCheck is fine. If they report that there's something on file, that's great, it's there. But Kentucky and many other states, you don't have to report an accident. If, God forbid, I took this Explorer behind us and drove it into a pole by accident, not a customer's car, that's somebody's person's car, we could pay for it ourselves and it would never show up on a report anywhere. But a good qualified technician, the guys that before you buy when they're doing the pre-purchase inspections or something like that, will be able to see telltale signs. And so if you're looking to if you own that vehicle and someone else has done harm to you by damaging your vehicle, part of the loss does state you are owed that loss, that diminishing value from that damage. And so the headache becomes how to determine a fair estimate. Obviously, the insurance company wants to pay as little as they can. You want as much money. Your feelings are hurt. And so Van, my father, and I, we have done a lot of this where we can assess it. We give you the value ranges that we think are reasonable, and we can write up a report. You go to that insurance company, and for the most part, they will work with you on that price and get something reasonable. Ultimately, your ultimate threat is, well, if you don't give me the money, I got to sue you, which is ugly at times. But, for the most part, they understand it's written in the law that, yes, there's a reasonable loss of value. If you compare your repaired vehicle to a undamaged vehicle, you're not going to pay the same thing. You have to make your damaged vehicle worth less to make it appealing to purchase.
Yeah.
So we do that a lot, and it all stems from the ideas and stuff we learned here.
All right.
So,
well, we'll check see if we have any comments here.
Yeah. You're looking at the wall.
Oh, hey, guess what? Hey, so I get distracted very easy here. So, Tony, how long at AutoTech and why are you still there? Well, I've been, like I said, 16 years. I've always liked it. It's more like a home. Now, before I got into working on cars when I was in college, I worked at different repair shops, dealerships. And this is like the best place. This is if there's a problem with the company or there's a problem with the car, there's no rules. We can do whatever we want, whatever it's going to take to help a customer. But if you work at a dealership, there's certain rules you have to follow and procedures. But here, we can adapt our business to help out our customers, and we've always focused number one on our customers. We put them ahead of everybody.
Absolutely. We realize that the customer base is how we earn a living, and by keeping people happy, they come back all the time. And what we really realized is quality service, doing the job well. And sometimes that does mean charging more than Joe Blow next door. But that means that Tony earns a living and can go home and can have fun, fishing on the weekends. Jesse could go race cars when I was younger and have a family now. But it also means we understand that you're paying the premium and expect the quality service back. So we're going to give you 110%. AutoTech does. I did when I was there, what we do now. It's certainly about, hey, you know what? We're going to take care of you, which allows you to take care of us. It's a symbiotic relationship. And it's a lot of fun. And we always learn. We always, everybody here always seemed to enjoy. You'd have a car that come in and be an absolute pain in the butt. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you'd enjoy that learning experience of, okay, now I get it. Now I know what they did, because as I learned, especially in my job, engineers are as managed by bean counters as they are by trying to figure out how to make a car run better, get better gas mileage. And oftentimes they don't think about the guys 5 years down the road fixing the problem. And so sometimes we had to get really creative and reverse engineer a problem so you can go, oh, okay, well, the right way would have been this way. So that's always part of the fun of being here.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're not watching this live and you do have some questions for me and or Jesse, comment them, and we'll comment them in our post. May talk about them live, of course, next week. If you like our mystery guest or like another guest, if you'd like to see Jesse back again, please comment him, and also comment down and thank him for taking time out of his day to come down to Auto Tech. And maybe next time we can do some other stuff together somewhere different.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
so
Figure stuff out.
once
Come over to
again,
my shop. I'll
thanks.
show you
All
the
right.
cars I have piled up in wrecks.
Yeah.
You know, for those, a lot of our clientele here have also been, I want to talk about the Keeneland Car Show coming up this
that's fine,
summer.
yeah.
You know, I'm always out there, the MC. Maybe I can find somebody to help me do it this year. Be a really great guy to come out.
Maybe we can do a live there.
There you go. You can definitely do some live stuff there too. So Tony knows better than to follow me out there. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So,
All right, everybody. Thanks for
Appreciate
watching.
it.
All right, drive safe. Bye.